How's the preparation going?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We've obviously trained twice. We're full steam this week. Probably similar to club footy. We get to train twice, Tuesday, Thursday. Tomorrow night will be a good hour and a half session with the boys, and we'll really try and work on some unity and a bit of game structure. And yeah, we're very positive the way we're going to shape up.
Do you think they're adapting to the strategy you're trying to employ pretty well?
Oh, so far it's more about getting the blokes to mingle and making sure we're united as one. And obviously club footy's out the road this weekend now. Last couple of weeks training was we're still playing against each other, so it's still a little bit of a hold off there I think between guys, but I think from tomorrow night onwards we'll really be tight and we'll move forward.
Just looking through the team, what do you expect to be able to produce? What kind of sort of play are you going to?
Yeah, we want to be quick. I've looked a fair bit about Geelong District Footy League, and a fair bit of detail about most of their players. They're going to be strong, physically tall. I think they don't really stuff around for footy when they get in the front half of the ground, so we probably need to do that ourselves. We might play a little bit of a chip and run, just really work it, keep the footy. Probably a bit of one thing we'll work on the weekend is get the footy, keep the ball. That's one of our mottos for the weekend. And yeah, we've got a fair bit of youth there as well as experience, so I think we'll be fairly even across the board.
And you just mentioned you obviously have some details from Geelong. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, obviously they're going to have a fair few ex-GFL players, so they're going to have some experience there. They've got a fair bit of height. I think they've got 2 or 3 dominant ruckmen, so that's something we're going to have to try and work around. And also they've got a few key forwards that we're going to have to try and stop. So they'll be a very good side, and I look forward to the challenge of coaching and seeing our boys how they go against them.
Obviously you guys are ranked 21 or 22 at the moment. The proposition of jumping inside the top 20 would be...
Yeah, it's beneficial, especially for the league and for clubs, I guess. Go back club level, recruiting wise to be inside that top 20, I think is a key. But more so for the league to be able to propel yourselves into that top 20. As a coach, it's probably something we're not so much stuck on. We're more about structuring rise and competing well that will get us a result.
What have been some of the things you've been working on at training?
Yeah, we're looking at fast transition, especially from half back. We want to try and get it, once we're in that inside square, especially on Maryboro's ground, you want to try and get it inside your 50 as quick as you can. So we've been working a fair bit on that kind of structure of taking the ball half forward, wheel around as quick as you can and get it inside. Also a fair bit of, we started last week a bit on accountability. We want to make sure that once they've got the footy, they look like getting the footy, we're defensive and accountable straight away.
And when you've been putting together the side, is it more Saturday match performances, or have you taken trainings into account as well?
A little bit of both. I guess we could probably look at. I think people might get stuck on who isn't playing. I think we're going to have 23 players that really play for the group, play for the league, and yes, there's some quality that won't be playing, but I'm sure Geelong will be the same. But we've picked a lot of it on Saturday performance, but also there's 1 or 2 players will play for their position and what we think they can do for the group.
So what has the commitment been like to training and the whole interleague process?
Yeah, it's been accountable. We had 34 train the first night. We had 31 last Tuesday, and we'll cut the squad back tonight to 29-30, and not expect every one of them to be there tomorrow night, and they would be. So it's been fairly good. And the blokes there's been a few Melbourne Geelong players that have been accountable, and they're coming up this week, which is good.
And is there going to be a good spread from most clubs, do you think?
Oh, look, there'll be a couple of clubs that won't have anybody. That's just the way it is. Regardless of who is playing, who isn't from each club, we'll just pick the side that we feel will represent us the best.
What's going to be your main strength on the weekend?
I think our run, and I think after the way we train this week, I'd like to think our competitive work. I want us to really be aggressive towards the footy, and obviously Geelong too when they get the footy.
Now, I know you weren't personally involved last year, but they had a pretty successful run. Is that something you want to build on this year?
Oh, we want to win the game, simple as that. It's going into the league, you're playing, the best is playing the best, you want to win, so we want to continue that moving forward, and we want to really try and get the result.
And I don't know. So you're obviously a supporter of representative football?
I always have been, yeah. I think players need to play when they can to the highest level and improve. And I guess my biggest thing within the league footy, and I've been associated with Ballarat and also Maryborough, Lexington Plains in the past, is your ability to meet people and build new friendships and those kind of things that you wouldn't tenderly do just from a home and away game. So those relationships that players can get, I think, is important.
What was your past involvement in them? Was it as a coach or as a player?
I've been assistant at Ballarat a couple of years, a couple of times, and also for Maryborough, and I coached Lexington Plains a few years ago.
Yeah, so what's it been like this time as the coach? How have you seen it?
Oh, it's a little bit different, I guess. you'd have a fair bit more control. But you know, I try to spread that evenly through our coaching panel, and you know, it's enjoyable. It's another step away from your club where you challenge yourself and get to challenge people. So I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Would you approach it just the same as you would any other coaching game?
Probably not club level. Expectation would certainly be higher. I think your skills, the players you've got out in the park are definitely better. So I expect a fair bit more out of it. So every single person in that side should be an A grade at club level. So you definitely expect them to perform and hit targets and be accountable, work hard both ways. So the expectation would certainly go up as a coach, but not too much that the players think, you know, that they're not sure what they're doing.
Does that expectation transfer to training? Are you really putting them through heavy?
I think so. I think the first training session was more about, you know, we're just trying to mingle and have a bit of a, you know, light-hearted. The guys are comfortable being, you know, first time for the year training with other players. And I think we stepped up the other night. We trained fairly well the other night for 45 minutes, but this week will be the stepping stone towards our campaign on the weekend.
And the home track at Princess Park's pretty tight. Is that something that you think?
Well, it is. I think everyone in the league plays on it in finals time, so it certainly is a different ground to play on. I think Geelong District's got a couple of little grounds, so they might be a little bit used to it. But yeah, you've just got to be smart when you've got the footy on that small ground and keep it. So.
Yeah. And Cole, as a player, is this your first time in Interleague?
Yes, this is my first time. I played Junior Interleague for the Bendigo Football League, but this first time as a senior representative in Interleague. It's something that every player should try and aspire to. Player commitment needs to be better than what it has been in the past for Interleague, not only to push the league up, but it's also a great opportunity, as Shane said, to network and meet new players and enjoy yourself and try and play the best footy that you can on the weekend.
So what are you hoping to get out of the experience?
Obviously, I've already met blokes that I wouldn't normally speak to on the weekend just through training. But you go out there and obviously you put your best foot forward and you try and do the team things, and the team aspirations always go first before a personal.
Do you think that the squad at the moment has the potential to become quite tight?
Yeah, well, obviously the first training session, there's always that initial period where they're just feeling everybody out. Everyone's a little bit nervous, a bit standoffish. But as the second session progressed, everyone was starting to gel, and then the expectations of hitting targets were not only there from the coaches but from players. So that also needs to be player driven, that the standard of training is at a high level, and then we can all gel. Once the club stuff's out, like we played Navarre, and possibly we'll be playing with 4 or 5 blokes from Navarre. So once that gets out of the road, then you can just start to be teammates rather than it's still a little bit standoffish.
What position will you be having to run through them?
Not sure, but normally play sort of half forward through the middle, but that's sort of yeah.
And he'll help towards your speed, I suppose.
Yeah, he will, and he's smart. He's a very smart footballer, and probably play a different role than what he has to at Carricksbrook at the minute. So you know, it might be a bit fresher for him. So.
And Cole, you just came into the league this year. Is it an exciting opportunity to represent it in the future?
It is, yeah. It's something that obviously at the start of the year you put your best foot forward to be selected in the initial squad, and then it goes back onto yourself to make yourself available and get all the trainings that you possibly can. So travelling over from Ballarat, there's 3 or 4 blokes from different clubs that we can travel over with. And that's another thing that players need to be more accountable with, so the travel just doesn't come back onto yourself. You can carpool and get across, so that's been good as well.
Shane talked about the importance of winning to help out with recruitment and stuff as a coach. As a player, why do you think it's important to get a win?
It's important because you sit around and say, oh, I played in this league, and everyone goes, oh, well, that league's no good. But as a player perspective, it'd be more beneficial for the players to say, well, we do play at a high level of football. So if we can put our best foot forward and have a win, and move into the top 20, which is a real goal of Scott and Sean's running the league, to not only help them promote the league, to make it more of a high-profile league.
So playing rep footy is something you hope to do, not this year, but years
yeah, well,
coming.
hopefully wherever. If I'm available in injury-free and my form's good enough to be selected, I'm more than happy to put my hand up every year to play.
And how do you rate your side's chances on the weekend?
Well, if we can gel as a group and we execute the structures that Shane's put in place, well, I have no doubt that we'll come away with a win.
Is there any, I guess, obviously there is going to be some added pressure, but how's the nerves heading into the match?
Yeah, well, probably at training, that first session that he was most nervous, and then game day you'll start to get a few nerves, just as every player does on game day. And there's nothing wrong with nerves. Nerves are a good thing. they make you more on edge and they heighten your senses. So I don't see any problem with nerves. If anyone's got nerves, well, that's good. They want to be there and they want to play.
When we had the side final,
I'll be fairly much tomorrow night, Tuesday night, but then it'll probably fully be Thursday. There might be only 2 or 3 spots we'll have to have a look at with a couple of maybe injury concerns and things, so we'll just see.
so not much change over the weekend. I'm all good.
Yeah, I'm done.